There we go, okay. Hello and welcome to our Scouts vs. Scouts. This is our Eyes and Ears of the Big Boys, what it's going to be called. I'm calling it that. It's going on my channel, blah blah blah, whatever.
Hello Snow Runners, Pink Shirt Guy here, along with Ace of the Round Table. If you could understand what he said.
That's normal.
Eyes and ears of the big boys. These are scout trucks. They're the eyes and the ears.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But we're going to say one thing we like and one thing we dislike about most things. Some of them, that's not going to be the case, but you'll see why. But let's start with this two-box standard that you always get at the start of the game. First, the Chevy. Okay, well, I love the fact that it's basically the middle of the road truck of the whole thing, the whole game. It's just a middle of the road truck. You can use it pretty much every map fairly well and easily, so it's very easy to get at that point, so that's what I like about it. Now you can say.
Oh, you're gonna say what you dislike?
No, we're gonna say first, like first, which not big.
Okay, what I like about it is it is extremely versatile. Really, it's the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
You said it. I'm saying the same thing you said, basically in a different way. It's an extremely useful truck. It's the truck you start with at the very beginning, and even in the stock form, well, especially in Michigan, it'll go anywhere in Michigan in totally stock form.
It'll go pretty much anywhere in Russia. In Alaska is what we're getting at, because chain tires.
True.
I just like that it's, well, its roof rack isn't that great. Well, it's good, it's just, it takes a little bit too long to get.
Yeah, to level 14 to get the large roof rack.
If it was like 2 levels lower, it'd be better. Or at least level 10, that'd be good.
That would definitely help. What I don't like about it, it's not a Ford F-150.
Which was also in Mud Runner.
Exactly. Why didn't you take the F-150 from Mud Runner and put it in here? It's which
I think was a 90s Ford, if I remember right.
Something like that. I don't remember, but
it's been a while since we've actually played Mud Runner.
I'm a Ford guy. I want a Ford.
Well, yeah. Now the Scout 800. I think it looks the best. I think it just that's one of my favorite things about it. It just looks really good. It's also really good off-road, pretty much stock, and you don't need a suspension for it, so it's pretty good. And it's roof rack. You get it right from the start.
I agree. It's very off-road capable. Stock form. It's decently powerful.
It's decently weighted for its power to weight. Is what it should. Is a good way to say it. Decently, at least.
Yeah, it is. It's not too overpowered to where it just sits and spins, and
it's honestly a little underpowered with the stock engine, but not too badly, at least.
Yeah, it is good. You can get an upgrade for it in like the second map, the Smithville Dam map. You can get an engine upgrade for it, so you can give it a little bit more power there, and that's easy to get. That's what I like about the Chevy too. Is in the first map, you can get the biggest engine for it, and you can get the raised suspension in the first map within the first 5 minutes of playing the game. So.
Oh yeah. What I dislike about it is his lift kit's useless. The tires you can get for it, just stock, is more than enough, and lift kit just makes it too high.
Yeah, I agree with the. You put the big lift kit on it.
It makes it even more flippy than it already is.
Yeah, from the very start, the truck is tippy. It's very off-road capable, but when you get it on uneven surface, it likes to flip over. And when you put the raised suspension on it, it makes it 10 times worse.
It's my favorite Scout, but even I'd say you need the autonomous switch with it. You have to have that with it, but that's not a big deal.
That's an absolute necessity, having the autonomous winch for the Scout 800.
Its roof rack at the start does make up for it for a bit, but that's not a big deal. But on to the Hummer. For about 5 seconds, we both dislike it. It's useless.
Yeah, it's totally useless.
More or less.
It won't do anything. It sits and spins. No matter, it'll spin in the parking lot. It'll spin in mud. It spins on ice and snow.
Yeah, it just kind of spins. We just don't like the Hummer.
Yeah, it's totally useless.
If it was heavier, it'd be better, but it's not, and it's not a Hummer 1. It's a Hummer 2.
Yeah, exactly. And an H1 would be much better than an H2.
Yeah. And H1's more off-road build, and H2's more civilian on-road build.
Yep. Well, and the H1 just looks better.
That too. Now to the International 1700. We both love this. This is one of our more favorite Scouts, but it's very good off-road. It's very good off-road, but the problem is, well, I'm not going to get into that, but we both just love it, but it's just good off-road. It's powerful and it's good off-road. It's the best thing to say about it.
It's the larger of the Scout trucks. It's heavier. It has the big truck engine in it. It has good tire options. The off-road tires are actually mud rated, so it goes through the mud really well. And
it's heavy.
It's heavy. It's good for pulling a trailer. Like once you get into Russia, the Lake Cove and the Amandra, it's good for pulling that prototype trailer. It's excellent truck for pulling the prototype trailer.
Oh yeah. At the start of the game, at the very least in Michigan, when you could probably get it in Michigan, you'd probably get it in Michigan just because it's not that expensive. It's kind of low to the ground, a little too low to the ground, so you kind of have to go to Alaska to get its lift kit. At that point, it's usable. Don't really like that about it. It's a little thirsty, but not too bad. That's more for like Lake Kolob and all that. But even I've used it there.
Yeah, we use it there. What do I not like about it?
Pretty much the same, except...
Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah, it's definitely too low to the ground. Once you get the race suspension, it takes a while to get the race suspension.
Yeah, it's in the second map in Alaska, and to get it without doing any of the tasks is kind of annoying.
Yeah, and it's hard to find too. When you don't know where it is. If you don't know where, yeah, once you've played it, it's hard to get because when you visit the watchtowers,
it doesn't show up.
It doesn't reveal it to you. So you either find it randomly by accident, or you just know where it's at from
experience, or you look it up
from previously playing the game, or from watching somebody else's video.
Yeah.
So but once you do get the race suspension, even the stock engine in it's really well. And once you put the larger engine in it, it's very...
I don't even put the large engine in it.
You know, I do. I always do, but... He's
sick, by the way, so...
Oh, yeah.
Don't be... We're both stuffy, so...
Yeah, I'm coughing and hacking because I have a sinus infection, so I talk a little funny, but...
Don't worry about it.
I always talk funny, but... Excuse me. So, yeah, some of the upgrades for it are a little bit difficult to get. But otherwise, it's a great truck.
You don't really need the engine upgrade, and I never put it in there. But that's always a personal thing.
Yeah, but Matilda go vroom vroom. I like go fast, and it's fun.
Yeah, that's fine. Now the S750, which is another truck we both basically love. You didn't really like it at the start, but I did at the start. But it's the best utility truck. It has a lot of repair and a lot of fuel with it. And it's good off-road.
That it does. Yeah, when it first came out, before they put the engine upgrade in it, that truck was totally useless. I mean, it's a Ford. I like a Ford, so...
I used it because I was insane, but
yeah, I like the fact that it's a Ford, and it's, as far as rescue truck, it's excellent for rescuing.
Oh, yeah.
Large amount of fuel, large amount of repair points on it.
It gets really far with the amount of fuel it has, with both what it carries and what it has in its tank.
Yes, exactly. You can start in... You can leave a garage in one map, and you can go through all 4 maps of Alaska with it on the fuel that it has with it.
You can do that on Kolob, you can do that on the Russian maps, and you can do that.
And it has enough repair points on it, you can repair everything along the way that's already broken down.
Pretty much. Or what you break. So that'll happen.
Yeah.
I dislike that it doesn't have the V8 that it should have. It has a V10 instead. Which is a weird thing. I made an entire video ranting about that one day.
Yeah, the engines, it should have a...
Granted, there's a lot of things about that with a lot of the trucks that don't have the right size engine in them.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's not a big thing, but that's one thing. Another thing is, it's just kind of hard to get. It's just... The map it's in is hard to get to. granted, you can get it with the Yankee stock and all that, and it's all its upgrades, but it's still hard to get.
It is hard to get. It's hard to find.
Especially if you don't know where it is.
You have to drive through a swamp to an island to get it, and then you have to tow it back onto solid ground, and it's difficult to get to solid ground, and then it's a long way. You have to deliver it to a camp, and that's a long journey, so you have to take a lot of extra fuel along with you.
Yeah.
So yes, the truck itself is difficult to get, and the upgrades are difficult to get. The engine, you have to go into a totally different map. And that's a long, arduous journey.
It's the best lift kit for it. You have to climb up a mountain to get.
Yeah, the tuned custom suspension for it. You have to navigate your way up a solid sheet of ice to get to it, and it's extremely difficult to get. So yes, the upgrades, the truck itself is hard to get, and the upgrades are difficult to get.
Yeah, still a really good truck, and it is still worth getting the upgrades at the very least.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's a high priority. You start a new game, getting the F750 is a pretty high priority, because
unless you're on hard.
Yeah, unless you're in hard mode, but once you do get that truck,
you're pretty much have your service truck for the whole game.
Yeah, you're going to use it for the rest of the game, and it's excellent.
I use it for medium logs, but I'm insane.
Yeah,
but I still think it's a good thing for medium logs, but there's many reasons why I say it is.
Yep, it is excellent for that. It for being a scout truck, it pulls the big trailers, and it's extremely useful.
There's a lot of things we can say about the F750. But
yeah.
There's a lot of things we can say about it, but let's move before we talk about that for an hour. Going from the right to the left, if you figured out what we're doing. But that Caterpillar, that forklift Caterpillar.
It's called a telehandler. Telehandler, yeah. It's an off-road
He knows more about these things than I do, and I always forget what they're called.
It's an off-road forklift, but the technical name for it is telehandler.
Something I really like about it is it's kind of good off-road, and that's about it. And after that, you pretty much, even in that map, you may only ever use it once in that map, and that's probably it. Unless you want to roleplay some things because they'd use those things everywhere pretty much.
Yeah, that's a construction vehicle. You can use it in highway construction. You can use it in home construction. You can use it in industrial construction. It's an off-road forklift. The telehandler, it has a long boom on it, so you can, if you're working on a house, you can raise things up to the roof level, or if you're on a roads job, you can lift things from the ground up to a bridge. So that's the purpose of the vehicle. In the game,
there's not many uses for it. It's part of the problem, really.
Basically, what I use it for is I go find it and then I sell it.
Yeah.
I sell it to buy something else.
There's generally just not many uses for it. It's kind of the problem with it.
Yeah. Don't you find 2 of them in the game?
I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've actually been in Yukon. We've both been kind of playing on hard mode, so we haven't really been doing the maps in any order. We've been kind of doing them in the order we want to.
Yeah, so it is capable off-road, no doubt. Yeah. One thing I don't like about it, well,
it's just what you don't like about it.
Yeah, I really don't like much about it. You can't, real life, you can use the forks on it. If you have a truck flipped over or something, you can actually use the forklift itself to upright something. In the game, you can't do that. It won't allow you to do that.
One thing is also you can't put any weight on the back of the truck, which this is a fun thing if you didn't know. They put weights on tractors. You can put a weight on that thing, and you can't do that in the game.
Yeah, true. You can put a counterweight.
Balancing weight, yeah.
You can put a counterweight on the back end of it. And as far as operationally trying to use it as a forklift, it's a pain in the ass. Really is.
Yeah, it just kind of feels a little awkward using.
It's the controls of it, it's just not very controllable.
It's a little awkward, but it's not terrible. I don't find too much trouble with it, but I'm used to playing games he's not. That's a big thing too.
That's true.
Now onto the R. We both kind of like the R. It's kind of like the International 1700 in terms of usability, at least.
Yes, it's big, it's heavy. It's excellent for pulling any of the Scout trailers. Works really good for pulling the prototype trailer. A two-slot flatbed for a load of steel beams.
Oh, yeah.
It's big and heavy enough, and it's slow, but it's powerful enough to do that.
I'd say it's a bit underpowered. When it's stock, it is. When you get the upgrades in the engine in Russia, it doesn't do much. It doesn't matter anymore. But it's kind of slow, comparative at least.
It is. It's very slow, and it is not maneuverable. The maneuverability of that thing is terrible. You have to make 12-point turns and back and forth to get it.
I don't have too much problem with that, but we drive differently, so that's always our things. That's one thing you always got to remember. We both drive differently, so we're gonna have different opinions on different things for how they work.
Exactly. I drive very conservatively, and well, sometimes I do like to go fast, but I'm more cautious.
That's what you should
I can
say.
drive fast and cautious. Mr. Ace over here.
I drive like a madman.
Extremely reckless.
For majority of the time, I'm reckless. In some of the
doesn't-
later maps, I'm more cautious. But most of in Michigan and Alaska, I'm reckless because like, I know these maps way too well.
I don't like doing damage to the things. It hurts my feelings when I take a point of damage. So
In hard mode, I have to agree with that because even though it's like
yeah.
Because hard mode, because now in hard mode, obviously it's pace.
Well, yeah, you have to pay for everything in hard mode. So
yeah.
So that's different style.
Well, yeah, that's just how we drive. But again, it's just like that's kind of underpowered until you get the better range before it's slow. But that's it. But one thing about its speed, the International 1700 is the fastest Scout truck.
Yes, no
out
doubt.
of these, at least, and even out of the ones you could buy, it's still the fastest.
Yeah, the 1700 is the fastest, and
That's
the
just one
R is
thing
the slowest.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say that. I think it's pretty close. They're actually close-ish, because I've actually done a video of...
Oh, okay.
A long time ago, I did a video of a lot of the Scouts versus each other.
Okay.
In the International and the R, they're close-ish with how I was driving, at least.
Okay.
And they were hauling a trailer at the time, but that's a different video all the time, but whatever.
Yeah.
Now to the 420, or the TUZ 420 if you want its full name, but 420 because it's a military vehicle. It's a good off-road vehicle for the most part. The tires are pretty big. It's not too terribly hard to get. Either way, you either get it in Rift or you get it in the... I forgot the other map in that place, but you either get in Rift or the other one.
Yeah, Zemnogorsk.
Zemnogorsk.
You get one in Zemnogorsk and you get another one in Rift, so you get two of them for free. It takes a little work to get them both.
One you just have to find, the other one you have to pull out of a ravine. At that point, it's not that hard to get.
Oh, it's super simple. If you go to Zemnogorsk and get the first one,
the other one just pull the other one.
extremely easy to get to the other one. So
Yeah.
So what I really like about it is it's the best rescue truck in the game.
There's a difference between rescue and utility.
Well, yeah, rescue, utility, and recovery. That's all. Those are all different terms. But as far as rescuing, it's the best rescue truck. It's super powerful. It will. If you have any of the big heavy trucks, the twin steer, the International twin steer with a fuel tank on it,
Azov.
the Azovs, the P16, any of those huge trucks that have
The P12.
the P12, any of them those large trucks that have the large
8x8s, they're heavy, they're a little lower to the ground.
Yes, that they're extremely heavy. You put the add-ons on it like a heavy crane, or like with the twin steer, the extended fuel tank. Those trucks are extremely heavy, and if you happen to flip one of them over and you don't want to recover it back to the garage, especially in hard mode,
Yeah.
the TUZ 420 will upright those trucks, any of them. So that's excellent, and also off-road capable, especially in mud.
Ice is a different story, but we'll get to
Ice
that.
is a different story, but it's an excellent tow vehicle to tow something else through the mud that struggles getting through the mud.
a lot of things we dislike about it too, but such as no tire options because there's no chain tires. You can put chains on those tires. The military does it, or they stud them. We didn't know.
Yeah, in real life, you should be able to have an there are options for
chaining or studding them. The military does both.
Yeah.
That is a military civilian vehicle, is the best way to describe it, because they use it for civilians use it in remote areas, and the military uses it as a transport truck and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called an APC, an armored personnel carrier.
It's not really an APC because of how it's designed, because of the windows, but it's more civilian use.
It'll haul like...
Well, yeah.
You can put like 12 people inside of it.
Oh, yeah. Another thing that I really, really hate, that you can't put a cart trailer behind it, even though the hitch behind it, you can.
Yeah,
the hitch is specifically designed that you can put a cart trailer behind it with how it's designed. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's extremely annoying, not being able to pull any kind of trailer with it, either a scout trailer or a larger trailer.
A scout trailer shouldn't, because it doesn't have a ball hitch on it. It has a drop pin hitch, which it should. That's a drop pin hitch should have those cart trailers.
Yeah, exactly. It should be able to pull the larger trailers, but
you don't need a panel hook hitch.
And I guess they didn't allow us to pull trailers with it because it'd make it too easy to do too many things. It's a relatively fast vehicle. One thing I absolutely despise about it is it gets high-centered so easily. Rocks, stumps, uneven terrain, it'll get high-centered.
And for those of you who don't know what high-centered means, we've probably said this before, but basically, your truck's on a rock or something in the middle, and you're just teetering on it, and your wheels aren't touching the ground. Yeah,
it lifts the tires off the ground.
That's an easy way to describe it.
Yeah, you get something...
A cliff, a rock, anything like that, a branch, a tree, a stump.
Yeah, anything that will lift the tires off the ground. And it is also not maneuverable at all.
Which is just
it should turn a lot better than it does. I understand it's a big truck and it's got 4 axles
heavy,
under it, but with the twin steer axle on it, it should be much more maneuverable than it is.
One other thing about high-centered, just really quickly, is your wheels can still be touching the ground and you can still be high-centered.
True, yeah.
Before anybody says something, well, whatever about it, saying we're using high-centered wrong, no, we're not.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it about that. The 166 is just it's very maneuverable off-road. It's like the Scout 800 with I also think it looks the best out of the Russian Scouts. It's one of the things. Not bad off-road. It's not as flippy as the Scout 800. I'm comparing a lot to Scout 800 if you can't tell. Because they're very similar. If I remember, I think it can have a bigger lift kit, but that's not a big deal for it. That's pretty much really all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, it's a neat little truck. It's a 30s styling.
It's a 30s military.
Yeah, 1930s, probably 36, 38, somewhere right around in there is where it would be year-wise. It's a neat little truck. It's small, it's lightweight, it's maneuverable.
And yes, they did use them in World War II.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's an actual World War II vehicle. It does, you can get the tuned custom suspension on it, which raises it extremely high. Downside to that is it becomes quite tippy at that point.
The higher you make something, the higher its center of gravity is for any vehicle.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly. It has no repair points on it. You can put a roof rack on it, but it
only has a spare tire and fuel. That's
small amount of fuel. Is it like 40 liters or something like that?
I think it's 60 or 40, somewhere around there.
So it's not extremely well.
We forgot to check for this, but that's not a big deal for this. We're just going through every vehicle.
Yeah, you could put a small amount of fuel and tires on it, but it's not really service truck. It's not really good for that.
It's a Scout. That's what it is.
Yeah, it goes to a lot of places. It's nimble. It's not good for pulling a trailer. It's too small and lightweight. I mean, you can hook a trailer to it, but
if it's just the trailer itself and it's the flatbed or the single one, it's fine.
Yeah, it'll, but you can't put any cargo on it, so.
I mean, I've used it to pull the fuel one, and I've used the Scout 800 to pull the fuel one.
Yeah.
And I've had it work fine, but oh well. Now on to the Loof. The bread van, as some people like to call it. Oh, he took the controller. He's just doing whatever.
I was making it a little more visible.
That's fair. But yeah, the Loof's fun to drive. I have fun with it, but that's about really the only good thing I have to say about it. It's fun to drive. It's okay off-road. It's not bad. It works well.
You can get a cool skin for it. Make it
Oh yeah.
You can be a hippie man. You can be a Russian hippie man.
Which is a fun thing about it, at least.
Yeah, it looks good. It gets a cool skin on it.
Oh yeah.
No doubt.
Its tires are too small. Its tires are just straight up too small.
Its tires are way too small.
Its roof rack's good. That's a good thing about it.
Yeah, it has a good roof rack.
Oh yeah. Biggest thing about it is it's light, so you can't really pull much with it. You can pull smaller trails within some of the, like things like wood and things like that with it fairly easily. You can't really pull fuel very well with it. You can, just not very well.
Yeah, the fuel trailer weighs more than the van, so.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't really.
Especially in real life, it would is what a good thing to say, because.
So at that point, the trailer drives the van doesn't drive the trailer, so.
Yeah.
And you lose control. So.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much what we just said everything about the Loaf.
Yep.
On to the Sentinel, it's like the Hummer but taller.
Yeah, it is.
It's a Hummer but taller.
It spins on the pavement, it spins in the mud, it spins in the snow, it spins on the ice, it just spins.
It's a cool pickup, I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's a cool design. Actually, it looks like a Nissan.
Yeah, it looks like a Toyota.
It looks like a Nissan Frontier, actually, is what I think it looks like. But.
You really do. They probably took the designer, but every company does that for everything, so it's not that big a deal. Then to the... I guess we'll just go to the Don, because we really got much else to say about it.
Yeah.
The Don, he says this, and I say too, you can get surprisingly far with it. We just did a little bit of fuel with it, but... It's good off-road, it's nimble, but its fuel's its biggest problem, even with its roof rack.
Yeah, a small fuel tank, so it doesn't have... I mean, it's not a thirsty truck, so it doesn't use a lot of fuel, but it does have a limited amount. It does get... Do you get a spare tire on the roof rack? I don't remember.
I think you do, yes.
You get a limited amount of repair points, and... yes, it's small, it's lightweight, it's nimble, maneuverable. It gets surprisingly far for its size. Again, being so tiny, it's not good for trying to pull any kind of trailers with it with loads on it.
Yes.
It's not good for that, but if you need to go to the top of a mountain for something, it's really good for that. Like the...
In Russia, I got 2 water showers with it before I ran out of fuel, and that was without me going to the fuel station.
Yeah.
I purposely tried not to.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna go through the bracket really quick, and this is probably gonna be our last thing that we say. If there's anything else you want to say, we'll say it.
So the bracket he's talking about, we're going to do a
versus everything to find what is
a tournament.
Yes, the tournament.
An elimination tournament. Yeah.
There's a lot of things we have for each category for which things they're going to look against. There's different categories we have, but we're going to talk about different things in each category. So we'll get to that, but let's talk about the bracket really quick. I'm just going to go through what's going on against what? Scout 800 versus the Chevy. That's honestly...
That's the first bracket.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
You can probably figure out why it's like that at
least.
That's
an easy one. They're the first 2 Scout trucks you get in the first map, so it... And...
Now... Next one, Don versus the 166. They're both small, they're both in Russia, and you can both get them fairly early.
Yeah.
S750 versus the 420. Basically, it's going to be rescue versus utility.
Yep.
1700 versus the ER, American versus Russian. They both work very similarly, for the most part, more or less.
Yeah, they're size-wise, they're similar, and they can accomplish pretty much the same things.
The Hummer versus the Sentinel, obviously it's there. We both dislike them and they both spin, so.
Useless versus useless.
Pretty much. And the rest is just, we did this because we didn't know what to put against each other, so the Cap versus the Loaf, because we didn't know.
Yeah, those were the last 2 vehicles.
Then we didn't really know what to put. Obviously the honorable mentions that you can buy, the Chevy Apache, we're not doing anything like those ones you can buy, we're doing just the normal DLC, not the small buy or microtransaction buy ones.
Yeah, the Jeeps and
or the pre-buy ones if you pre-order the game.
the Con Marshall we're not including because that you had the.
It's a pre-order.
It's a pre-order,
which we both have.
We both have, but.
Or it's a season pass, but either way, we're not including it.
We're not including that because some people aren't going to have access to that truck.
Yeah, and some people may not have access to all these too, but we may do something just the vanilla trucks too someday.
Yeah.
But well, I'll tell you straight up, the best vanilla truck is the International 1700.
Probably yeah.
It's either the 1700 or the R for vanilla. We'll say that straight for Scout at least because there's for at least our tournament at least, but that's pretty much it. Hopefully I didn't knock everything off.
My lunch.
After sandwich job boots. Oh, it's not a big deal, but yeah. Eyes in the ears of big boys. I already have a thumbnail created. It's not this, but I have a thumbnail created, but it's not a big deal. But
all right. Well,
hope you enjoy this.
See you next time.
Bye.